At first glance, Leave It to Beaver looked like the ideal American dream. A quiet neighborhood, a spotless house, a smiling mother in pearls, a calm father with the right lesson for every problem. And at the center of it all, a curious little boy learning life's rules one mistake at a time. For millions of viewers, it wasn't just a TV show, it was what America wanted to believe itself to be. Ratings climbed. Reruns kept the series alive for decades. New generations discovered it long after the final episode aired. The Cleaver family became a symbol of innocence, stability, and wholesome values. But behind that polished image was a far more complicated reality. Real lives, real pain, real secrets that never made it onto screen. Because while the show stayed clean, the truth behind it was anything but. What unfolded behind the scenes of Leave It to Beaver was a story of luck, sacrifice, quiet struggles, broken dreams, and unexpected courage. And once you look past the smiles, you begin to see why this show endured, not because it was perfect, but because the people behind it were deeply human. Leave It to Beaver was never meant to be just another family sitcom. At its heart, it was a reflection of suburban America in the 1950s and early 1960s, a time shaped by post-war optimism, growing neighborhoods, and a shared belief in family values. The story followed Theodore Beaver Cleaver, a young boy navigating childhood alongside his older brother Wally, under the guidance of their parents, Ward and June. Beaver wasn't a troublemaker, but he was curious, innocent, sometimes misguided. And that's exactly why audiences connected with him. He made mistakes. He misunderstood the world. He worried about school, friendships, and fitting in. Over time, viewers watched him grow. His feelings about girls shifted from annoyance to fascination. He developed innocent crushes on his teachers. Each episode explored a small moment in a child's life, yet somehow those moments felt universal. Beaver wasn't perfect, and that honesty made him relatable. He felt like every little boy trying to figure out the world in post-war America, and through his eyes, the show told the story of an entire generation. The boy who became America's most beloved child didn't win his role by trying to impress anyone. Jerry Mathers got the part of Beaver Cleaver in the most unexpected way imaginable. While other children arrived at auditions eager, rehearsed, and polished, Jerry showed up wearing his Cub Scout uniform. He had a meeting to attend afterward, and when asked if he was excited about auditioning, he answered honestly he would rather be at his Cub Scout meeting. Instead of seeing this as a lack of interest, the producers saw something rare, genuine honesty. Joe Connolly and Bob Mosher weren't looking for a trained performer. They wanted a real child who could simply be himself. Jerry didn't act like Beaver. He was Beaver. That moment of truthfulness earned him the role that would define his life. Before the show, Jerry had appeared in commercials and small film roles, but Leave It to Beaver transformed him into a national icon. His charm didn't come from memorized lines or forced expressions. It came from being real, and fittingly, his journey into Hollywood began not in a studio, but during an ordinary shopping trip with his mother, proof that sometimes fate finds you when you least expect it. While Jerry Mathers stepped into fame early, Tony Dow's path was completely different. Before becoming Wally Cleaver, Tony Dow had never acted a day in his life. He was an athlete, a competitive diver, and trained lifeguard. His discipline came from sports, not scripts. He was discovered almost by accident, noticed for his confidence and presence. What made Tony's story remarkable wasn't just his lack of experience, it was how naturally he fit into the role. His chemistry with Jerry felt genuine because it was their brotherly bond on screen became one of the most believable relationships in television history. Tony's background as a competitive athlete shaped his approach to acting. He was focused, dedicated, and calm under pressure. Those traits helped him transition seamlessly into one of the most watched shows in America. But with fame came risk, and the people behind Leave It to Beaver understood how dangerous childhood stardom could be. As the show grew in popularity, the producers made an unusual decision. They asked Jerry Mathers and Tony Dow not to watch the show. The reason was simple. They didn't want the boys developing egos. Fame could distort a child's sense of self, and the writers believed that keeping them grounded was more important than letting them enjoy their stardom. Tony Dow later recalled that decision with gratitude. The boys were treated like professionals on set, but they were never encouraged to see themselves as celebrities. Their mothers were present every day, providing stability and support, helping them separate real life from television. That balance, structure, on set, normalcy at home, played a huge role in how both boys handled fame. It protected them in ways many child stars never experience. Barbara Billingsley, who played June Cleaver, embodied elegance. Her pearls became iconic. Her calm voice and gentle demeanor defined what television audiences believed a perfect mother should be. But the pearls weren't just a fashion choice. Barbara wore them to hide a surgical scar on her neck. It was a deeply personal detail she never discussed publicly during the show's run. Some viewers criticized her appearance, assuming she was trying too hard to look refined. They never knew the truth. Off-screen, Barbara's life was far from perfect. She was a single mother raising 2 sons after the death of her husband. The struggles her character never faced were part of her everyday reality. As the series progressed and her on-screen sons grew taller, producers asked her to wear high heels to maintain the visual authority of the mother figure. She cooked, cleaned, and acted for hours in heels, not for glamour, but to preserve an illusion. It was a small sacrifice for a bigger image, and Barbara carried it with grace. Hugh Beaumont, who played Ward Cleaver, delivered fatherly wisdom with a calm authority that felt deeply authentic. That authenticity came from his real life. Before acting, Hugh was an ordained minister. He spent years teaching moral values from the pulpit. When he stepped into the role of Ward Cleaver, he wasn't pretending, he was simply continuing the same mission in a different form. But behind that composed exterior was a man wrestling with regret. Hugh lived in Minnesota and traveled frequently to Los Angeles to film. During one of those trips, tragedy struck. His family was driving to meet him when they were involved in a devastating car accident that took the life of his mother-in-law. The guilt stayed with him. He questioned whether accepting the role had been a mistake. Fame brought financial stability, but it also brought personal loss. Like many actors on the show, Hugh became typecast. No matter his talent, Hollywood only saw Ward Cleaver. The frustration grew, especially as the child stars gained more attention than he did. Still, he remained professional. He channeled his creativity into writing and directing episodes of the show, stories drawn from real life. In doing so, he helped shape the very series that caused him so much internal conflict. Almost every episode of Leave It to Beaver had roots in reality. Producer Joe Connolly kept notebooks filled with memories from his childhood and stories his own children told him. Those moments, awkward, funny, sometimes embarrassing, became the heart of the show. That authenticity is why audiences connected so deeply. The Cleavers felt real because they were built from real experiences. Even characters evolved unexpectedly. Eddie Haskell was supposed to appear in just one episode, but actor Ken Osmond's charm and chemistry were undeniable. The writers kept him for all 6 seasons, creating one of television's most memorable characters. The show also broke tradition by telling stories from a child's perspective. While most family shows focused on parents, Leave It to Beaver let children lead the narrative. It allowed parents to better understand their kids and allowed kids to see themselves reflected on screen. Barbara Billingsley's real-life strength shaped her performance. She often challenged scripts, insisting that June's reactions feel realistic. Her real motherhood informed her on-screen one, making June Cleaver believable rather than perfect. Tony Dow eventually left acting and became a sculptor, proving life after fame could be just as fulfilling. Jerry Mathers stepped away from Hollywood entirely, choosing education and normalcy. He attended university, worked as a commercial loan officer, and avoided the spotlight for years. During that time, a bizarre rumor spread that he had died in the Vietnam War. Even his family received condolence calls. In truth, Jerry was serving in the Air Force Reserve and had never left the country. The rumor stemmed from a tragic mix-up involving another soldier with a similar name. Later in life, Jerry faced health challenges, including diabetes. Determined to regain control, he transformed his lifestyle and lost significant weight, eventually becoming an inspiration to many. Ken Osmond's life, after the show, took a shocking turn. Struggling with typecasting, he joined the Los Angeles Police Department. To avoid recognition, he grew a mustache and worked in dangerous divisions, including narcotics. During one pursuit, he was shot 3 times. His bulletproof vest saved his life. The incident later appeared on a police documentary series, revealing a truth few fans knew. The man who played television's most mischievous kid had become a real-life hero. Frank Bank, who played Lumpy Rutherford, left acting and became a successful stockbroker. Though his character was awkward and rough, Frank's real life was calm and grounded. He later wrote an autobiography, sharing wild stories, but also admitting how deeply the show shaped his values. Other cast members faded quietly into normal lives, proving that fame wasn't the only measure of success. Not everything behind the scenes was harmonious. One young actor was removed from the show due to his mother's constant interference. It was a harsh reminder that adult behavior could derail a child's future. The show also made television history in unexpected ways, like becoming the first series to show a toilet tank on screen. At the time, even that was considered scandalous. Producers also kept the Cleavers' hometown intentionally vague. Mayfield was meant to be everywhere and nowhere, a reflection of every American town. Even the father role was recast before the show aired. Another actor originally played Ward Cleaver, but the decision to replace him proved pivotal. Hugh Beaumont became the definitive TV dad. One episode, involving a giant billboard and a dangerous stunt, became the most expensive of the series, but also one of the most iconic. Leave It to Beaver wasn't just about a family. It was a creative experiment, a reflection of real life disguised as perfection. A show built on honesty even when the truth stayed hidden. The people behind it lived full, complicated lives. They struggled, adapted, and grew, just like the characters they portrayed. And that's why the show still resonates today, because beneath the polished smiles and neat lawns was something real, and sometimes that's what makes a story truly timeless.